Hey, hey. All right, welcome back. Now we are starting to break down the macronutrients. So, like in the previous video, we talked about there's three main macronutrients: protein, carbs, and fats. There's also alcohol, but generally that's not taken into account when you're considering how much food you need to eat in the day and how many calories that you're eating, and then breaking that down into your proteins, fats, and carbs, which is your macros. So, we are starting with protein. And I just want to get into a little bit of a background of what protein is, how we determine like what food actually has protein, why it's considered a protein, and then I'll get into a little bit more about how to get more protein into your diet. Once I do that in the next video, I'm going to break down some other things like what's collagen, what's gelatin, some of these like key like hip terms that you're probably hearing nowadays and how those can work into your diet, why you may or may not need them and things like that. So to start with protein, we identify protein using the base molecules. So basically that just means like what are the building blocks that are making up that food? And the main building blocks of protein are going to be amino acids. So you may have heard of the terms like branched chain amino acids or essential amino acids. Basically, the umbrella term for that is the amino acids. Those are the very foundational molecules that make up a protein. So you can't break down amino acids any further, essentially. And what I mean by that is that there's obviously components to the amino acids, but in terms of like molecular size, it's like one molecule. And those amino acids are going to be the building blocks, kind of like Legos, to make the protein, where protein is kind of like the Lego starship, if that makes sense to you. There's a few different kinds of amino acids, but to start with, just know that there are only 20 amino acids. And it's a combination of those 20 amino acids that make up every single protein that we know of in the human body. So the two ways that we can break down amino acids are going to be essential amino acids and non-essential amino acids. First, I want to start by saying essential amino acids are essential because our bodies cannot synthesize them on their own, which means our body doesn't make them. We have to get those amino acids from our diet, in particular from protein. So you've probably heard of things like, let's say if you're doing a plant-based diet where you might need a few different kinds of foods in order to make up all of the amino acids that you need, like a mix of rice and beans, or like lentils and a certain type of veggie or something like that, in order to get all of the essential amino acids. Otherwise, our bodies start to break down and steal from other things in our body in order to basically get those essential amino acids that are completely necessary for our metabolism to function. There are 9 essential amino acids, and I'll be going over them in a second. And out of 20, so just remember you need that from your diet in order for your body to work properly. Then we have the non-essential amino acids. Basically, what that means is our body can synthesize them or store them in order to reuse them and use them, and we don't have to get them from our diet. Now, we can get them from our diets, but they are not necessary. So you don't have to worry about looking at a food and being like, oh no, I don't have this one non-essential amino acid. I have to get it from somewhere else. No, your body already makes them in high enough quantities that you don't need to do that. Now, in certain instances, you may need to get them from your diet, such as I think the one is arginine. Don't quote me on this. Adults make plenty that we don't need to get it from our diets, but little kids don't make enough of it, a sufficient amount of it for it to be optimal, honestly, even like regular or normal. So they have to get it from their diet, and they can get it from different things, which is why mother's milk is so important and things like that, and why a child's diet is so important, because they don't make as much as we do in this non-essential amino acid department. So those are the two different types of amino acid breakdown. Again, the essential amino acids, there are 9 of them. And I'm going to go into a little bit more on the essential amino acids. So it's not really talked about a lot, but in meat, in meat products, animal products, generally, if it's a protein source, it's going to have all 9 essential amino acids, which is why meat-based or animal-based proteins are very, very important for human beings, because it has all 9 of them, and it has them at a significantly less amount of calories. So what I mean by that is, let's say you eat 25 grams of protein, like 4 ounces of protein from an animal source, you're likely going to get all 9 of these from that one source. So, like we talked about in the previous video, if 1 gram of protein is 4 calories, you're essentially getting all 9 essential amino acids for 100 calories. Whereas if you're trying to get them, all of these essential amino acids from plant-based foods, and you have to combine foods and eat more of those foods in order to get the sufficient amount of essential amino acids, then you're increasing the amount of calories that you need. Now, if you're not focused on your body composition or trying to lose weight or increase muscle or anything like that, that may not matter to you, but in a world where we're living in an epidemic of obesity and diabetes and things like that, calories will matter, and how much you're eating of those calories and the type of calories that you're eating will matter. So just remember that. I'm going to break down these and the reason why these are separated. So the 9 essential amino acids: histidine, lysine, methionine, phenylalanine, threonine, tryptophan, isoleucine, leucine, valine, or valine. The reason I wanted to tell you these is because we will be getting into some of the things that these essential amino acids do in the body. So I want to make sure that you guys are just aware of them. You don't have to go home and memorize them. We're not in biochemistry class. But just so you guys, they sound familiar to you in future videos when maybe I come back and talk about methionine and its upregulation of things like mTOR, but don't worry about that right now. So yes, but the reason that I have these separated is because within essential amino acids, there's something that we like to call BCAAs, or branched chain amino acids. Now, there's only 3 branched chain amino acids. That's the isoleucine, leucine, and valine. The reason that they're called BCAAs, or branched chain amino acids, is because the way that the molecular structure looks, and I'll maybe doodle that for you, is that there's a side chain on every amino acid, and that's how you determine like what the amino acid looks like. And the side chains on BCAAs are branched. So we are so clever in our structural naming of these things, but it does make it a lot easier. I'll doodle it in a future video, but basically, I'll just do it right now. Okay, so in amino acids, we have a carbon group, every single one of them. Then we have a hydrogen, a nitrate, carboxylic acid. Okay, so nitrate is just a nitrogen and a hydrogen. Carboxylic acid is a carbon double bonded to an oxygen. And then that carbon is bonded to the next one. And then we have an R group. This R group is the side chain. And this is what determines like what kind of essential amino acid it is. So with the branched chain amino acids, isoleucine, leucine, valine, this R group is just branched. So instead of it being like a single group, it's something that it branches off. So there's like nitrogen, hydrogen is branched. So that's just what's happening over here. The reason that these are important is mostly because of the leucine. Isoleucine, valine, those are important as well, but the leucine is what's important for muscle protein synthesis. So basically what that means is in order to synthesize muscle or make muscle in the body, you need enough leucine per time that you eat in order for you to maximize muscle in your body, muscle protein synthesis, like the making of the muscle synthesizing within your body. I think it's 2.5 grams per, I know it's 2.5 grams of leucine per, I think. Okay, I'm not positive. I'll come back to you on that. But definitely 2.5 grams is what's going to like stimulate it the best. So that's why people are kind of like freaking out over BCAAs. However, there's been studies that have come out, and I'll link to them, that show that the essential amino acids, when you get them in, they work better together. So if you're eating them or consuming them together, they're going to, each one of their like main functions is going to happen a lot better, and you're going to produce more of it in the body when you have all 9 essential amino acids consumed together, instead of consuming like the 3 branched chain amino acids on their own and trying to get in enough leucine. You're going to have a better muscle protein synthesis chemical reaction in the body if you're getting all 9 in at the same time. So like I said before, usually meat is going to be, or animal protein is going to be really good for that. And usually it has like the amount of leucine that you need to entice that muscle protein synthesis. But if you're taking in too many BCAAs compared to like all the other 6 amino acids, then there could be negative consequences in the body. Like in particular, too much leucine without the other amino acids can actually spike blood sugar. So if you're like drinking that all day because you want flavored water, like you probably will be better off just doing some like lemon or lime in your water and doing an essential amino acid during your workout in order for you to get enough essential amino acids into your diet and have the effect that you actually want from taking it. So like, don't just take BCAAs because you think that's like the thing that you're supposed to do because you heard all these like bodybuilders doing it or whatever. Make sure you understand like why you're actually putting the thing in your body that you're putting into your body. So that's where I'm going to leave off on the protein for now. We're going to get into some more protein things in the future, but next up we're going to do carbs and fats. Just break those down a little bit for you, then we can get more into the nuances for funsies. But yeah, I'll see you on the next video. Hope you have a good day, guys.